Hi there, my name is Anne, and in this video I'm going to be coloring this picture. A while ago I got contacted by a company on Instagram. The company is Petgotti. I don't know how to say that because it's a Swiss company, and what they do is they sell paint your picture kits online. So you upload a picture and they transform it into line art, and they offered me a free code so that I could try this out myself without having to pay for it, which was very nice of them, and I'm very grateful that they gave me this opportunity. So for the picture I chose this one. It's of lanterns that my mom took while we were on a trip in Japan. And what you do is you upload the picture onto their website, they make a template, and what you get is an example of how the picture should look when you're finished, so like a reference picture. You also get the reference colors so that you can know which colors you need to use. And then you get 3 sets of outlines. You get a black one, the colored one, a gray one, and then what you also get is a color shading so that like the colors are a little bit already on the background. You also have 4 kind of options of kinds of templates. You have the one for kids, for amateurs, masters, and then for wall art. So if you want to project it onto the wall and paint it on a wall. Mural one, that's the one I was looking for, a mural. I chose for the master option. This isn't the template for the master. I don't know if they give it with all the purchases, but with mine, they gave my master one a little bit easier and easiest or something like that. Like I got 3 different versions of it outside of the master one, and I'm really grateful for that because I drew this first digitally and I'm not finished with that because it's taking a very long time. There are a lot of small areas, so I tried it, I'm still working on it, I'm going to finish it, and then I will upload a speed paint of it. But for now I'm going to do this traditional way in the a little easier version, so a little bit easier than the master one. And I'm going to try using colored pencils. I have no clue how this is going to turn out. I'm not that great at it. And if you're wondering, I printed this on different kind of paper. These are supposed to hold my colored pencils well, and this is what it looks like printed on normal printer paper. So yeah, I'm going to take the liberty of swatching my pencils off screen because I have a lot of them and I don't know which one are going to work for this. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so it did take me a while to find the right colors for this, and they're not perfect, but I mostly looked at the colors to each other, if they matched well, because if it doesn't match perfectly to the reference, that doesn't matter as long as they match to each other. So now I can finally start this, and I'm really excited because I really like doing the digital, and I really hope that this is also just as fun. It probably will be, so let's just get right into it. I just want to start off by saying I'm not getting paid for this video. I know that the intro might have sounded like an ad, but I just wanted to list all the things that they had because I do genuinely like this company, but I just wanted to clarify this is not an ad. All the things I'm going to say are my opinion. They are not paying me. I'm going to be honest in this video because it's still a review, and if there's something wrong with it or I didn't like some aspects of it, I'm going to say it. And as you just saw, I chose colored pencils for this, and I choose these instead of like watercolors or gouache or something because I'm not comfortable yet with mixing colors, and definitely not in recreating those colors, because I knew from the beginning that I wasn't going to be able to draw this entire thing in one sitting, and I don't know how to recreate the same colors, so I chose the easiest option, which was using colored pencils for me. Now I'm going to talk more about the process and how I found it coloring this in, because I really liked it. It's super fun to do, but there are some things that do annoy me or that I have like small problems with. And let's start off with the title of this video. I called this, "Is Paint My Picture the New Paint by Numbers?" Because I think this will definitely be compared to Paint by Numbers because they are so similar. I mean, you get line art with different sections and each section needs to be colored in a certain color. And that's basically the same thing as Paint by Numbers. Yes, you don't get the actual colors, but it is quite similar. So if you love Paint by Numbers, this might be something for you. But it is, in my opinion, way more difficult than Paint by Numbers. Maybe not difficult, but a slower process. Because with Paint by Numbers, you get the exact colors you need to use and the exact place where you need to put it. With this one, the Paint My Picture, you have the liberty of using your favorite medium and you're not restricted to just paint, which is really, really great, but you need to color match. And when you have a printer like me that doesn't like to print the colors right, then that can become an issue. Because I was color matching on the page that I printed off, and then I looked at the reference colors on my computer, and they were way more red. So that was a whole thing. And like I said, I don't feel comfortable yet in my skills to color match to the right colors. And if I've used paint, there is no way I would be able to recreate those same colors. And what's also more difficult than Paint by Numbers is, you constantly need to look at the references where the colors need to go. You can't just pick up your pencil and start filling in the right spots, because if you want to do it as a reference, then you need to look at the reference for where that color is, and then you need to find that spot on the paper you're filling in, which is time consuming and can be very tricky. And you have to do that for every single spot you want to color in. And when I say spot, I mean like area of one color. I don't know how to say that in English. In Dutch it's vakjes, and I don't know English words. But anyway, looking for those spots can be very tiring and straining for your eyes. So that's definitely a downside. It slows down the process a lot. But if you get over that, you'll have so much fun. This really is a fun thing to do. I can't say fun enough times. I really, really like it and I can't wait to continue this. I told myself that I would fill it in the traditional way until I thought that I had a good understanding of how this works and that I felt I was far enough into the picture that I don't think my experience will change later on. And I can now give a solid review of this product. And right now, it's looking really, really good. I know it might look weird, but the yellow sticky note on my palm is there for a reason. It's to prevent smudging. I'm left-handed, and if I keep just my hand on the paper, pigments will pick up on my palm, and that would smudge a lot. So I use a sticky note to prevent that. I didn't use one in the beginning, and I had started with red, so after I was done with the red, I went to the yellow lanterns. And I lifted my hand, saw that I smeared red all over the bottom of the lantern, and freaked out for a bit because I didn't know what to do. So I went with sticky notes. More about my process of coloring this in. At first, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I was very focused on getting the right finishing layer and making sure that every single spot / box area, however you want to call it, I was coloring was perfectly filled in. But as I got further into the picture, I started to treat it more as a relaxing activity instead of a polished art piece. And I'll tell you why this is important. This is for having fun, not for the perfect art piece that is ruined if you color just a little bit outside of the lines. So who cares that there are some places that don't look exactly like the reference? You're supposed to have fun doing this. And if I get too meticulous about this, I would still be here in a year, because the picture that I chose was kind of complicated. It had a lot of details. So there are a lot of small areas that at first I was desperate to get right, and I wanted to make sure that the right color got into the right spot But later on, if I couldn't figure out which color was supposed to go where, I just filled it in with a color that I thought looked good. And that brings me to my next point. Maybe the picture that I chose wasn't the best option. They do give instructions on their website of what kind of pictures works best for this, and they say to get a picture with something in the foreground and a very plain background. And I thought my lanterns fit that description quite well. But I think I was wrong. This has too many little details that are very difficult for the program to translate into a line drawing. So it had a difficult time making it perfect. If this Pay My Picture was created with a higher resolution, I mean the file that you get with the line art, if that was a higher resolution, so the line drawing was actually complete everywhere, I think that would have made my life so much easier. Because in this picture there are a lot of very difficult places to fill in. There are a lot of small areas where the line art isn't really finished and there are gaps between them. So we get these squiggly lines almost that are supposed to be different shapes connected to each other, but now they are just lines floating on the page and you don't really know how they connect and how they are supposed to be colored in. And I had to constantly look back at the reference picture to figure out what I was supposed to be drawing, which color I was supposed to be using, what was the shape that was actually on the line art. With the lanterns, there are some Japanese letters on there, and those didn't translate well into line art. I mean, look at that! How do I even begin to figure out what that is supposed to be? So eventually, I just colored it in with a pencil that I thought looked right. This was more a problem for the digital side than traditional. I printed this on an A4 sized paper for the colored pencils, so all the little gaps disappeared, and hallelujah, that was just, I loved that when I saw that on my paper, like no small gaps. That was amazing. So traditional, I had little problem with lines ending before they completed the box. So in this case, points for traditional. But what I do have a problem with also is you look at the reference picture and some of the colors on there are not projected onto the line art. Like certain places of colors become lines, so when you're working with the black outlines, some small colors might just disappear. And it's not like they make a big difference, but it's confusing because you look at the reference picture and there's a color that's not indicated onto the line art. So you're just like, am I supposed to put that color there? Like, what am I supposed to do with that color? So in the end, I just had to decide for myself if I wanted to add that color there or just leave it as it is. And it's not like your end result is gonna change that much if you don't fill that one tiny color in. It's a very large picture. Those things are so little and almost impossible to see. They don't really matter. Just color the color in that you think looks best with the color that you picked. That's the most important thing, the overall view of the picture. And I know I've listed complaints mostly, but honestly in the end, they don't really matter to me. This is so fun to do. It's basically coloring for adults with your own picture, and I really like it. It's relaxing and for me a very good practice on using my colored pencils. I don't really use them that much, mostly because I'm not that confident in my blending/finishing skills. And this was a really fun way to practice with them and use them more. And plus, you can make your own picture into art. I must admit that I did look for the right picture for a long time. I'm not really that great at photography, but luckily for me, my sister really is into it and my mom also a little bit. So I knew that we had some great pictures from our trip to Japan. So I looked through a lot of pictures and eventually chose this one with the lanterns. But for me, it was kind of stressful choosing this picture because normally you see this company and you decide to buy it because you have a picture in mind that you want to recreate on your own. But for me, they gave me this opportunity to do this. So I didn't have a picture in mind to make this with, which made it so much more difficult on myself because I really wanted to do this, but I had no clue with what picture. But in the end, I really liked the one that I chose. But if you do have a picture in mind and you think this would work great on it, or you just really like to paint yourself, definitely try this. I'm considering buying another one myself after I'm done with this one traditionally and digitally, because I really like doing this. I'm saying it a lot because I really like doing this. But just maybe with a picture that's not that many colors and that look so alike, and a picture with less details. Like a monument of Japan or something. Just not so many details. But anyway, the company who made this, Petgotti, their links will be in the description down below for if you want to check it out yourself. And I want to thank Petgotti again for giving me this opportunity. I'm not a big YouTuber, so for them to contact me was really surprising, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do this. But anyway, without further ado, here is where I am right now. I'm absolutely loving it, and I can't wait to continue this. This will probably be the first ever full page drawing I've done with colored pencils once I'm done with this. So I'm really looking forward to that. Right now I'm also working on the digital one. This is how it looks right now while I'm editing. If you want to see these finished, you'll have to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, where I'll post them once I'm done. The work in progress are also on there, just as all the other stuff I draw. There also is some art on there which I didn't make videos on. So like some of my drawings from my bullet journal or little sketches that I do. So if you're interested in that, the links to my social media will be in the description down below. And again, thank you, Petgotti, for giving me this opportunity. I really liked it, but that's all for now. If you liked watching this, please give this a like. And if you would like to see more of me, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye!